Hello everyone. I am Dr. Mustafa Azeem. I work as a postdoc research associate with the University of Alabama Mechanical Engineering Department. Today I will be talking about our study which is based on the atomic scale simulations for understanding the role of the nanowires in Incoloy nickel multi-layer metallic composite for advanced generation reactors. Uh, in this study, we have used molecular dynamic simulations for studying the interaction of nanowires created at the interface adjoining the uh, the layer between the Incoloy and nickel. And uh, we have studied the effect of the sizes at the interface under various radiation conditions at operating temperature observed for the generation 4 reactor, and the effect of the voids on the mechanical properties are also highlighted. Okay, we know that the materials in the harsh environment, they interact with the high energy particles and corrosive environments that change the microstructural and chemical properties. Also, the high temperature applications, they demand the material that can have the properties that can sustain the extreme conditions. There are different numerous candidate materials for the generation 4 reactors, like out of which ferrite and martensite have demonstrated the increased radiation stability and excellent mechanical properties. In our model, we have used nickel-based solid solution alloys consisting of nickel, iron, and chromium combination with varying composition on the in terms of iron and chromium. Then we can have Incoloy. We observed that they have already observed that they have the high oxidation resistance, phase stability, and at higher temperature and superior mechanical properties. So the nickel-based alloys, they can be are expected to be a prime candidate for the structural and the fuel chelating material for the advanced fission and fusion reactors. About the multi-layer metallic composites, they have the high oxidation resistance and mechanical strength, and because of their unique low oxidation tendency and the hydrogen production insensitivity, they are the candidate material for the fuel and fuel material for advanced generation reactors. Understanding the impact of the radiation on these alloys is also very crucial because they have the interfaces between them, which act as a phase transformation phase that can act as a defect for trapping. So there are some phenomena which are still unexplained and need further explanation. So on the basis of this, the atomic scale simulations are vital for understanding the microstructure evolution for developing such kind of radiation tolerant materials. All right. Our model, we constructed our model by having the initial composition structure by taking FCC lattice nickel at 1000 K, and later we embedded the iron and chromium into the model with the concentration of 47% and 21%. And later periodic boundary conditions were applied in all directions. We use the many body potential, which is like the more realistic potentials than other potentials. So mean potential, that is here in this case superimposed with the ZBL potentials to perform the displacement cascade simulations, and we use the LAMPS already, I think I mentioned, was used to perform the simulations, and Obito is used for the visualization purpose. And initially, we relaxed the structure by using NVT ensemble at 1000 K, which is like operating temperature for fast reactors. Mostly we observed that three set of the incident energies 1 and 5 and 10 kV were used for different wide sizes of radii 1 to 4 by selection of different dpa displacement cascade per atom, which is determined through the stream code. And the selection of the pk is chosen from the Incoloy part, and the pk is randomly selected in such that the constituent of each of the FEC and they having the same mass. So irrespective of their mass, we selected the pk. The velocities of incident particles are around almost 99% in the direction in normal to the nickel interface. And later the mechanical parameters for pristine radiated sample were determined at 1000 using the uniaxial tensile simulation along a y-axis at the strain rate of 0.01 per picosecond. The calculated properties, they include the ultimate tensile stress and ultimate strain and Young modulus for each of the size in the later slides. So if we sum up what we have done so far in this our study, and I will present the displacement cascade results. They include the effect of the peak energy and void sizes, and the effect of the incident PKs and radiation doses, the effect of the density on dislocation, and the effect of the mechanical performance of MMC due to the voids and atomic strain mapping. Okay, the calculation for the DPA was performed using the same code, and the values calculated for each of the DPA is plotted in the table below. We can see that we have selected different set of recoils for each of to make the DPA smooth. So our calculation based upon the successive cascade algorithms for the selection of the PK, considering a single PK for each bombardment, and the PKs are selected through the Incoloy part, and the value are calculated for the DPA. The damage value is calculated from the stream plot fluence. We have the experimental results, and we use that value and the calculated their atomic strain. The value which were used and the number of recoils are listed in the table below. Okay, the displacement cascades, actually they are the primarily the main display for the damage in the radiation materials. So on the basis of the energy, the displacement cascades, actually they are divided into different regions of sub cascades. And during the radiation damage, when the incident PK is bombarded on the interface between the nickel and Incoloy, we observed that the density of the defects decreases. Density of the defect decreases after increases initially and then start decreasing with the evolution of the time. And at the initial phase of the cascades, the smaller number of recoils gain some energy and the high velocity, whereas other caps on the equilibrium and directly relate to the energy of the PK. So its evolution is shown in the figure, which is indicating the initial rapid increase in the overlapping cascade, which result in the saturation followed by the reduction in the defect density. And the other figure, which is also representing the direct relationship between defect density and as a function of the void sizes, and the number of the vacancies and interstitial as a function they are plotted in order to observe the effect of the defect concentration. So our result indicates that the number of vacancies are higher for the larger void at a given radiation dose. And moreover, it is seen that the vacancy concentration at the given size and the different size and different defect density is independent of the size of the as well as the energy of the incident particle. So the lower defect recombination here is seen initially because due to the large number of defect density at the end of the displacement cascade. So the number of surviving defects at the end of displacement cascade, actually they are of the prime importance for investigating the behavior. And we see that it has the linear proportional to the energy of the displacement cascade, and the vacancy concentration is higher as compared to the interstitial concentration. Okay, we investigated in the mechanical response for pristine and irradiated sample, and it expressed in the form of the stress strain plot, uh, uh, applying the unique tensile stress in the plane of the nickel, and with the strain rate presented in the figure below. The result they indicate that the maximum stress is for the pristine sample is for the smaller voids, whereas larger voids have the lower strain and corresponding to the radiated models. And so this is testifying that the degradation of the material is observed and the mechanical properties are changed. So clearly larger voids have the lower stress and the higher strain value. This can also tabulated in the form of the table mechanical parameters like for pristine as compared to the other energy sizes. So the ultimate tensile stress and the Young modulus, they are compared. It can be seen that the ultimate tensile stress decreases as we compare the energy as in comparison to the energy. And this is also due to the fact that volumetric strains and moreover the values for the Young modulus, they also decrease with the recoil energy. This reduction is inversely proportional to the size of the void, and this is established that the maximum radiation dose deteriorate the material and change the properties and affect the performance. Okay, the effect of the radiation doses on the dislocation density is also observed. The dislocation nucleate actually then displacement cascade at a rate proportional to the energy, and the structure and interaction of defects such as dislocation is also very important for the mechanical properties observed in MMLC. So understanding the role of dislocation is very crucial for developing the radiation resistant material. We can see in the figures, they represent the dislocation density as a function of displacement per atom. So the value of the dislocation density for each case gradually increases initially with the radiation dose and reaches a plateau. And then furthermore, while this value start decreasing. Also, the dislocation density is sensitive to the energy EPK for smaller wires and is directly related to the EPK for the larger wires. So furthermore, we observed the effect of the radiation doses on the diffusion coefficient. We know that structure evolution of the material under radiation doses, different radiation condition is dependent upon the diffusion of the metallic alloys. We determine the diffusion coefficient for the different samples using the mean scale displacement method followed by the Einstein relation. In this figure, these figures represent the different energy concentration, different energies as a function of the dBA and diffusion coefficient were calculated. It is seen that the smaller wires have the higher diffusion coefficient as the radiation dose is increasing. Furthermore, while the diffusion coefficient of the samples were wired 1 nanometer, also independent of the independent of the energy. So its value drops upon the increasing the energy of the pK. For larger sample, larger interfacial voids are observed, and due to the observation of the larger interface, the value is increasing. Okay, the evolution of the atomic strain is also observed. The atomic strain mapping for each of the pristine and radiated samples, they are compared, and it was found that having the same radiation dose, the radiation model display failure at the same time step, where the pristine models are still stable. So we concluded that the higher value of the dB result in the failure model observed at the same time for the different sizes. Okay, in conclusion, we observed that initially for the displacement cascade, the defect density is proportional to the energy of the incident particles. Also, the number of vacancies are higher for the larger voids. Defect concentration for the vacancy is higher than the interstitial, and the radiation that throughout the material in we have observed in the mechanical performance is affected. Larger wires have the higher shear strength due to the presence of the higher kinetic energies and discontinuity. Our work at the atomic scale provide the understanding for the defecting nature of the interfaces containing voids. This is very crucial for developing multi-layer metallic composites for the harsh conditions observed in the advanced reactors. This study will serve as a predictive model for the developing radiation models. We would like to thank our collaborators for supporting this research. Thank you.